Captain Alara Miles stood silently in the command center of Earth's Space Command, her eyes fixed on the massive holographic display showing the vast expanse of the universe, dotted with countless stars and the territories of the Galactic Council. Around her, the hum of the command center buzzed with the anxious energy of her crew, awaiting her decision. Captain Miles, the Council's ultimatum is clear. We have 72 hours to cease all exploratory missions and retreat, or we face military retaliation. Our probes accidentally entering the sacred star systems has pushed them too far this time, reported Lieutenant Harrow, her communications officer. Alara turned to her crew, her expression resolute. The Council sees our curiosity as a threat, our expansion as an invasion. To them, we're still the primitive newcomers, aren't we? Her voice carried a mix of frustration and determination. Commander Jensen, her second-in-command, approached, his tone somber. Retreating now could set a precedent. They'll keep pushing us back into a corner. Earth might not survive another confinement. Alara nodded, pacing slowly. I've made my decision. We won't be retreating or negotiating under threat. It's time they see what Earth can really do. Prepare the fleet. Operation Terran Shield is now active. Murmurs of approval mixed with apprehension filled the room. Alara knew this was a gamble, but it was one she was willing to take to protect humanity's place in the universe. Over the next few hours, Earth's best minds were summoned, and the preparation for a secret mission began in earnest. The Terran fleet, equipped with the latest stealth technology capable of slipping past the most advanced sensors, was being readied for something unprecedented. This was not an act of war but one of assertion. In her office, Alara reviewed the fleet's capabilities with her engineering team. The stealth tech is good, but will it hold against the Council's scanners, she questioned. Chief Engineer Ramos, a brilliant technologist who had been with the project since its inception, assured her, we've tested it against all known Council technologies. As long as we keep our energy emissions low, we're ghosts. Satisfied, Alara next summoned her diplomatic advisor, Dr. Siachen, to discuss the message they would carry to the Council. It's not enough to show up unannounced. We need to communicate our intentions clearly. We're there to demand a seat at the table, not to beg for it. Dr. Chen, a veteran in interstellar negotiations, agreed. We'll need a strong opening statement. Something that acknowledges our mistake but also asserts our rights. This is as much about diplomacy as it is about making a show of strength. As the fleet's final preparations were underway, Alara held a briefing for her top commanders. This mission will either open a path for peace or set us on a road to isolation. Either way, we stand firm. We're not the errant children of the galaxy anymore. We're its future. Remember that. The night before the launch, Alara couldn't sleep. She walked through the hangar, looking at the ships that would soon be heading into potentially hostile territory. Her crew was doing final checks, their faces a mix of nerves and excitement. Approaching a group of young pilots, she shared a moment of camaraderie. You all are the best of Earth, she told them. Tomorrow, we show the Council that our spirit is not one to be trifled with. We're not just defending our right to explore, we're proving our capability to lead. The day of the departure, the command center was silent as the fleet powered up, their engines a low thrum against the cold metal of the launch pads. Alara watched from the command deck, her heart heavy with the weight of what they were about to do. As the ships disappeared one by one, cloaking devices shimmering like mirages, Alara felt a quiet pride swell within her. They were invisible, yes, but their message would be loud and clear. In the vast, silent expanse of space, the Terran fleet made its way towards the heart of the Galactic Council's domain. Stealthily, they avoided detection, slipping through known patrol routes and sensor nets. Back on Earth, the wait was agonizing. Every hour without news was a testament to the skill and discipline of her crew. Then, a signal, a simple burst of quantum data, encrypted and clear. The fleet had arrived at the outer perimeter of the Council's headquarters. Alara prepared herself for the next phase of their plan. It was more than just a military maneuver, it was a statement of humanity's arrival as a force to be reckoned with. She rehearsed her speech, the words she would deliver to the council, words that would hopefully usher in a new era for all of humanity. Our journey to this point has been one of trial and endurance, of learning and understanding. Today, we stand not as supplicants but as equals, ready to contribute to the galactic dialogue as partners. Let this be the day we all move forward together. With the fleet in position, the stage was set for a confrontation that would decide humanity's fate among the stars. The Terran fleet, invisible against the backdrop of space, moved closer to the Galactic Council's headquarters. Inside the flagship's command bridge, Captain Alara Miles monitored the fleet's progress with an intensity that matched the silence of the void outside. Each ship, a shadow among stars, carried not just Earth's hopes but its defiant resolve. "Status report," Alara demanded, her voice cutting through the tense atmosphere. "Fleet is in position, Captain. All ships are under stealth protocol, undetected by Council sensors," responded Commander Jensen, his eyes glued to the sensor panels. Alara nodded, her gaze shifting to the strategic map. Points of light represented the fleet, now encircling the headquarters like silent sentinels. "Begin Phase 2. Initiate the communication link to the Council." It's time they heard our voice. As the communication officer sent out the signal, a hush fell over the crew. This was the moment of truth. The screen flickered, and soon, the imposing figures of the Galactic Council appeared, their expressions ranging from curious to contemptuous. "Greetings, esteemed members of the Galactic Council. I am Captain Alara Miles of the Terran fleet. We have come to discuss the ultimatum laid upon humanity," Alara began, her voice steady and clear. A murmur ran through the council. A tall, thin creature with luminescent skin, the council's spokesperson, responded, "Your presence here is a violation. Why should we entertain demands from those who disregard sacred laws?" Alara's response was calm but firm. "We acknowledge our transgression into your sacred systems was a mistake, one made in ignorance and not malice. However, your ultimatum threatens our sovereign right to explore and exist within this galaxy. We seek dialogue, not conflict." The spokesperson sneered, "And you think an invasion fleet is the way to negotiate?" Alara smiled slightly, a strategic calm masking her rising adrenaline. "What you see as an invasion fleet is but a demonstration of our capabilities and our resolve. We come in peace but will defend ourselves if necessary. All we ask is a seat at your table, as equals." Behind the scenes, Earth's diplomatic corps, along with Dr. Siachin, watched anxiously. They had been part of crafting this bold strategy, knowing full well the risks involved. Dr. Chen, particularly, understood the nuances of council politics. Her expertise was now crucial. As the council conferred among themselves, Dr. Chen whispered to her team, "This is a pivotal moment. The council is prideful but not foolish. They'll see the advantage in negotiation over conflict, especially with the galaxy watching." Back on the bridge, Alara waited, her crew silent around her. The spokesperson returned to the screen. "Your actions today are audacious, Captain Miles. We will consider your request. Meanwhile, your fleet will stand down and await our decision." Alara nodded. "We will comply. We await your wise judgment." The communication link closed, and she let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "Prepare to hold position. Keep the fleet on high alert," she commanded. As the crew sprung into action, Alara retreated to her private quarters for a moment of solitude. There, she reflected on the enormity of what they had done. They had gambled hugely, but she believed in her crew, her fleet, and her planet. The waiting was the hardest part. Hours turned into days as the council deliberated. During this time, Alara ensured her fleet remained vigilant, ready for any outcome. She spent hours strategizing with her commanders, reviewing every possible scenario from escalation to withdrawal. Throughout the fleet, the crew felt the weight of the situation. In the mess hall, pilots and engineers talked quietly among themselves, speculating about their futures. In one corner, a young pilot named Lieutenant Mars spoke with seasoned engineer Ramos. "I signed up to explore the stars, not to start wars," Mars confessed, his voice low. Ramos, a veteran of many such missions, nodded. Every step we take into the unknown is a step toward understanding. This, too, is exploration, in its own way. We're exploring how far we can go to defend our right to exist among the stars. These conversations reflected the mood of the fleet, tense yet hopeful. They believed in their mission, in their captain, and most importantly, in the right of humanity to be part of the galactic community. Finally, the call came. The council was ready to give its decision. Illyra gathered her crew on the bridge as the spokesperson appeared once again on the screen. Captain Miles, the council has deliberated. We are prepared to revoke the ultimatum under one condition. Illyra stood firm, ready to hear their terms. You will share your stealth technology with the council, and humanity will have its seat at the table, as equals. This is our offer. The bridge was silent as the weight of the decision hung in the air. Sharing their technology was a significant concession, but it was worth it for a place in the galaxy. Illyra didn't hesitate. We accept your terms. Thank you for recognizing humanity's contributions and rights. As the communication ended, cheers broke out across the fleet. They had achieved what they set out to do, not through force, but through fortitude. Captain Illyra Miles had led her people not just to a seat at the table but to a new status in the galaxy. This moment, a turning point for humanity, would be remembered as the day they stood firm and claimed their future among the stars. Captain Illyra Miles watched the Galactic Council's headquarters grow larger on the view screen, a fortress of diplomacy and power now challenged by humanity's bold move. As the Terran fleet maintained their positions, cloaked in shadows of advanced stealth technology, Illyra prepared to execute the most critical phase of their plan. Communications, open a channel to the entire fleet. It's time for a final brief, Illyra instructed with a calm resolve that masked her underlying tension. As her image flickered onto screens throughout the fleet, Illyra addressed her crew with a steady gaze. Today, we do more than defy an ultimatum. We define our future. Our mission was never about confrontation but about establishing our place in this galaxy. Stay sharp, follow protocols, and remember, the universe is watching. The channel closed, and Illyra turned to her navigation officer. Take us in. Slow and steady. The fleet began their coordinated approach, slipping through the Council's outer defenses undetected, their presence unknown to all but a few high-ranking Council members negotiating in secret. As they neared the headquarters, a subtle shift in the star patterns indicated the activation of the Council's advanced detection systems. Captain, they're scanning the sector. It won't be long before they detect anomalies in the cloaking fields, the science officer reported, his voice tinged with urgency. Illyra nodded, her decision made in the heartbeat. Drop the cloak on my mark. Let's show them that we come as equals. Mark, she commanded, and as one, the fleet revealed itself, a majestic display of Terran engineering and resolve, orbiting peacefully yet powerfully around the Council's sanctum. Back on the Council station, the scene was one of controlled chaos. The sudden appearance of the human fleet sparked a flurry of activity. Council members, previously unaware of the secret negotiations, reacted with a mix of outrage and awe. On the communication bridge, the Council's spokesperson, flanked by security, re-established contact. Captain Miles, this is a provocative action. Explain yourself before we are forced to defend our sovereignty. Illyra stood firm, her voice resonant through the comm link. We have shown you our strength, not to provoke war but to avoid it. We seek dialogue, not conflict. Let us meet in peace and resolve this standoff. The spokesperson hesitated, then nodded slowly. We will send coordinates for a neutral meeting area. Come alone, Captain. As Illyra prepared to shuttle to the meeting, her crew looked on with mixed feelings of pride and apprehension. Commander Jensen approached, his expression serious. Are you sure about this, Captain? It's a big risk. Illyra clasped his shoulder. It's the only way to end this peacefully. Keep the fleet ready for any outcome. Arriving at the designated meeting area, a neutral space station at the edge of the system, Illyra was greeted by a diverse delegation of council members. The talks began under high tension, with both sides laying out their grievances and terms. Illyra listened patiently, then spoke with a clarity and conviction that cut through the diplomatic posturing. "We are here today not because we desire your territories or resources. We are here because we believe in our right to explore and coexist. You have seen our determination. Let it not be for war but for peace." As hours turned into intense negotiations, the mood shifted slowly. Illyra's straightforward honesty and the undeniable demonstration of human capabilities began to resonate with the Council. Meanwhile, aboard the flagship, the crew monitored the situation closely, ready to act on any signal from their captain. Lieutenant Mars, who had voiced his fears earlier, now felt a sense of purpose, understanding the broader implications of their mission. Back at the negotiation table, breakthroughs came. The Council, influenced by Illyra's arguments and the silent threat of the Terran fleet's presence, agreed to amend their policies regarding human exploration. "We agree to your terms, Captain Miles. Humanity will have its freedom to explore, under certain conditions to ensure peace and order," the spokesperson conceded. Illyra nodded, her face a mask of diplomatic composure but her eyes alight with the victory they had achieved. "Thank you. We accept these terms and promise to uphold our part with honor." As she returned to her ship, cheers erupted throughout the fleet. Illyra's gamble had paid off, securing humanity a place at the galactic table through a show of strength tempered with diplomacy. In the aftermath, as the fleet prepared to return home, Illyra addressed her crew once more. "Today, we navigated the delicate line between force and diplomacy. We have not only secured our future but have also opened a new chapter in human history. Let this be a lesson in the power of unity and the strength of our convictions." With the Terran fleet retreating back to Earth, their mission completed, the galaxy watched in newfound respect. Humanity had not only stood up to the Galactic Council but had done so with a blend of courage, intelligence, and integrity, marking a new era for humans in the cosmic community. The return journey of the Terran fleet was tinged with a sense of victory and relief. Captain Illyra Miles stood at the helm of her flagship, reflecting on the events that had unfolded. Her gamble had paid off, and humanity had secured a place among the stars as equals. Yet, she knew this was just the beginning of a new chapter in human interstellar relations. As the fleet neared Earth, Illyra prepared for a final address. The communication channels buzzed to life, connecting her to every ship under her command. She cleared her throat and began, her voice echoing through the fleet. "Officers, crew of the Terran fleet, today you all stood witness to history. Together, we faced down the greatest threat to our existence with courage and resolve. Our mission was about more than survival, it was about establishing our place in this universe. As we return home, remember, we return not as survivors, but as pioneers." The crew's response was a mix of cheers and solemn nods, each person processing the weight of their accomplishments. Upon re-entry to Earth's atmosphere, the fleet was met with jubilant crowds and flashing cameras. The world had watched as their fate hung in the balance, and now they celebrated the brave men and women who had secured their future. Illyra disembarked, her feet touching down on home soil for the first time in months. She was greeted by top government officials and military brass, all eager to commend her. But it was the presence of Dr. Chen, her diplomatic advisor, that brought a genuine smile to her face. "Dr. Chen, without your guidance, this could have gone very differently," Illyra said, extending her hand. Dr. Chen shook her hand warmly. "It was your leadership that saw us through, Captain. I just provided the map." Their conversation was cut short as they were ushered into a series of briefings and debriefings. The world's leaders wanted to understand every detail of the negotiations, the capabilities of the new fleet, and the terms of the peace they had brokered. Meanwhile, news outlets buzzed with headlines about the Terran fleet's bravery and the diplomatic prowess that had averted war. Humanity's profile in the galactic community had been forever altered, and debates raged about the implications for future explorations and relations. In the midst of this, Illyra took time to meet with her crew individually. Each meeting was an opportunity to thank them for their service and to discuss their hopes for the future. One such meeting was with Lieutenant Mars, the young pilot who had expressed his fears before the mission. Sir, this mission, it changed my perspective. I saw that our actions, however small, could influence the galaxy, Mars confessed. Ilara nodded. That's the burden of command, Mars. We make choices, and those choices ripple across the stars. You've shown great courage. What will you do with this new understanding? Mars straightened, his resolve clear. Continue serving, Captain. Wherever humanity goes, I want to be there, making sure we're a force for good. As the celebrations died down and the fleet was decommissioned for upgrades and analysis, Ilara found herself at a crossroads. The galaxy was watching, and Earth was now a significant player on the interstellar stage. Her actions, and those of her crew, had opened countless doors. She was summoned to a high-level meeting at the United Nations, where she was asked to lead a new diplomatic corps dedicated to interstellar relations. It was a role that would leverage her experience and her newfound status as a hero. Captain Miles, you've shown you can navigate the stars and the politics that come with them. Will you help lead us into this new era? The Secretary-General asked. Ilara considered the offer. It was a chance to shape how humanity approached its place in the universe. With a steady voice, she accepted, ready to embark on the next phase of her journey. In the weeks that followed, Ilara worked tirelessly to establish the new corps, drawing on her experiences and the lessons learned during the mission. She advocated for policies that emphasized cooperation and mutual respect in galactic affairs, ensuring that humanity would not only take its place at the table but would also work to keep that table stable and fair. As Earth adapted to its new role, Ilara often looked back at the events that had brought them here. She penned a memoir, detailing the mission, the negotiations, and the personal moments that had defined her leadership. It became a bestseller, inspiring the next generation of explorers, diplomats, and leaders. Captain Ilara Miles had not only led the Terran fleet to a historic victory but had also laid the groundwork for a future where humanity was a respected member of the galactic community. Her story was a testament to the power of determination and diplomacy, and it continued to guide those who followed in her footsteps, striving to uphold the principles she had fought so hard to establish.